Hold back to the chat when he was jumps on. Hello, Rich B. How are you? Hope y'all are doing well. 6 people on, 2 thumbs up. I'm in Austin, Texas this week. Good old Austin, sitting in the hotel room, sitting on the couch. Got one of those, I don't know, suites or whatever you call it. They upgraded me for free. Anyway, hope y'all are doing well. It's already been a long week. Ugh. I'll be heading back tomorrow. Let me know if you can see and hear me and all that good stuff, okay? Hello, MZ. How are you? I'm good. All right. Anything fun and exciting y'all want to talk about? It's kind of a free-for-all, so if y'all have any questions or comments or anything like that, let me know. Oh, I got mammed, or whatever you call it. Sir, I'm not a ma'am. That's what it is. I'm not a ma'am. At a restaurant in Austin, brought me my food, and I was there with a client. We were eating, looked like a girl to me, and I think it was a biological girl. And I said, "Thank you, ma'am." "I'm not a ma'am." I was like, and I just said, "Okay, I'm not playing that game." Hello, Gary. How are you? U.S. Navy vets in the house, but yeah, I don't play into their fantasy bullshit. I don't have time for that. I'm too old for that shit. But very rude. Food was good. I mean, they did, give us decent service even after that. I mean, I of course tipped, but wasn't happy about it. DB is in the house. Rich B says, "I recognize those cheap ass hotel lights over your head anywhere." Yeah, but look at this lovely picture. We got that one. We got that one. I mean, this is a nice hotel. I've stayed here before. I actually really like it. It's kind of quiet and it's kind of off the beaten path. Hello, Lee. I'm outside of Austin, actually. I don't stay in downtown Austin. I don't care for it. But we happened to eat Tuesday, I guess it was yesterday, at a lunch place. And yeah, I got the, "Oh, no, no, ma'am." And I was like, whatever. That hasn't happened in, man, that hadn't happened in quite a while. So I was kind of surprised it happened, but it is what it is. DB is fresh back from vacation, only an 8-hour delay getting home. Yeah, that's why I've said I'm not flying for the rest of the year. They gotta, they gotta get this, the TSA and all that stuff fixed up before I fly anymore. And I've already scheduled off a ton of vacation. I have a whole ton of it, and I gotta burn it. So, matter of fact, I'm still gonna have some left. I guess 40 hours or whatever, but it'll carry over. So I'm going to be taking off Thanksgiving and half of December, I think. So I'll get a bunch of time to shoot and relax and even get stuff more buttoned up in the garage and in my office. I'm going to really be working on the garage. And good news is I brought the cane, but I haven't used it. And I just, been carrying it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to leave it in the truck. So I've thrown it in the truck. Haven't been using it. I still don't have a perfect walk, but been not using the cane at all. So bending the knee. Oh, I did want to give a report also. I don't know if y'all know, we've got 19 people in and only 2 thumbs up. Y'all smash that thumbs up. But I did go to the deep tissue massage. A lot of people were asking me and saying, "Hey, it could be worse. She could mess you up." So I did want to give a report on it. And I've got to say, when she worked the ankle, the knee, the hamstring and the calf. I mean, it opened up all kinds of flexibility. It was amazing. Matter of fact, I walked in there not kind of with a cane, but with a hobble, like my normal peg leg thing. And after it, I mean, it was like awesome. I was like, holy crap. It wasn't the most, it was a little painful, but I mean, got a good pain tolerance, but it was amazing. Highly recommend it. And like I said, I walked out of there almost completely normal. Um, I mean, I had a good gait, was able to bend the knee. Um, and so far, it's actually still helped. So I wouldn't say it's as perfect as it was, but it's like, I mean, I would say I'm probably 75%, 80% maybe. So I'm extremely satisfied. And that was after a 1 hour session. I'm like, good Lord, my physical therapist didn't do this or any of that shit. So I was pretty amazed. Very, very happy. Yeah, that Newtown is going after Ruger. That's called Swagger Pimp Walk. Yep. No, I didn't get that. She's very, very nice. But yeah, I always have the pimp walk. What's up, Gary? Yeah, you got to keep that pimp walk. I want to say something, but I'm not going to say it because it wouldn't be nice. But better have my money. Yeah, that was pretty funny. If you've ever seen the show I'm talking about, I don't remember the name of it, but I just remember the term that was used. But anyway, yeah, I could highly recommend it. I was extremely satisfied with, how she made the mobility back into my knee and my ankle that I did not have. And also, it was weird after she did the swell or did the ankle, it automatically almost took all the swelling out of it. So I was and it hasn't came back even after walking on it. I mean, I would say maybe a little bit, but not like it was. The staccato swagger, yeah. Oh, also the carry for this week is the Shadow System CR920X. What is it, XP, I guess? That is what I'm carrying this week, in case anybody wants to know, because I usually get asked. Give me a big old bottle of water. I didn't really want to go anywhere when I got home or back to the hotel. So I just ate at the hotel, and they actually had, y'all know I'm not a big beer drinker, but they had like a happy hour. And so I had Samuel Adams Summer something. It was pretty good. I'm not a big beer drinker, but it was decent. Pocket full of sunshine. What's up, Armsman? How are you, buddy? He says, good evening. Took a V-Glock apart today. Exactly the same except for the striker slide plate and striker channel. Everything else is still interchangeable. Slides aren't, though. Yeah, I saw some video where somebody was kind of pointing it out, but I really wasn't paying attention. It was short, and I was just like, oh, hey, that's cool. V-Glock screws, yeah. It was just, I think it's funny that everybody was running out, oh my God, you got to buy a Glock before the world ends. And I think anybody that had a Glock or was going to get a Glock already had a Glock. But man, some people were going crazy wanting to buy more Glocks, thinking it was the end of the world. And I was kind of like, If I would have got one for an awesome deal, I might have bought another one. But yeah, that's it. U.S. Navy vet. Sam Adams Summer Ale. Yeah. It was actually pretty good. So I had 2 or 3. And I don't even really drink beer that much, but it sounded good with what I was eating. And so I was like, okay. Yeah, I did. I had 3 of them. V-Glock trigger any different, Armsman? From what I saw, a lot of people said it's exactly the same. It's not any better, so I don't know. That's what some people were saying on their videos. There aren't enough old Glocks to last forever. Yeah, that's true. Everything is Gen 5, yeah. That's what I heard too. Didn't know if it was true though. Exactly the same, trigger part same, not interchangeable though. Okay. Yeah, and sometimes when I'm in Austin, I'll go by some gun stores, but I noticed one of them that I used to go to, they closed. So they're not even open. I don't even see it then. I don't even see the building there anymore. It wasn't a big one though, it was kind of a small one, but I guess they're not in business anymore. I can't even remember the damn name of it. Hello, Lynn Holt. How are you, sir? Damn, man, this pillow is freaking uncomfortable as hell. I don't know where they buy these couches. I probably shouldn't even sit on it, but yeah, Ranger. Like I said, when they put this Newtown, when they pushed Glock into the corner and Glock, folded or did what they did. If you remember, I said they're going to send one to Shadow Systems. They're going to send one to Ruger. They're going to send one to PSA. They're going to send these out to everybody. So now we're just going to see, because if they say they conquered Glock, they're going to keep trying to conquer everybody. So yeah, they're not going to give up, that's for sure. Yep, they're going to go after everybody. So we got 25 in here and 8 thumbs up. Yeah, DB, I'm carrying the Shadow System CR920 XP. That's what I've been carrying this week. And the person that I'm working with, her husband's a big hunter and stuff like that, so she's not one of your average Austin, the new Austin people. She's cool. Oh, Ruger? Okay, so I didn't hear that Ruger officially said they're not changing anything. And Shadow Systems already had the California version coming out, so and I forgot, this has happened before, but I forgot that veterans, our company is closed for that, but I already scheduled the travel to work with the person, so I worked on a work holiday. So maybe I'll take off Friday afternoon and maybe go shoot. That's what I want to try to do. We'll see how it works out. I've got conference calls and stuff, but I want to try to maybe sneak out and shoot a little bit if possible. So we will see how that works out. Oh, Ruger said pound sand. Good. Yeah, I hope all the rest of them say pound sand. I mean, screw them. Well, never mind. This could turn out bad. Let's see if they stop with this trigger conversation. No, they're going to keep going, Ranger. They're going to push it to as far as they can push it. Other than gun grabbers, bragging rights, who cares what Glock has to do? Yeah, that's true. But I mean, they're looking at anything as a victory. Anything that can tally up and say we won, they're all about that. No, I'm glad Ruger's not caving. If they truly aren't, that's good. That is good. I got one of my accessories is back ordered, so it won't ship until the 21st because they've got to build a part that I wanted for it. So that'll be the 21st. I should get those. That's the ETA on the ship date so far for those. That's the last thing I'm due. So hopefully I should get that and get those put on. And then, but so far everybody's liking the accessories I put on. Yep. That's true, DB. Give them an inch, they will take a mile. Yeah, and they want to sit here and, give the illegals everything and give them, insurance and this and housing and all this crap. They won't take care of our veterans. They won't do shit. I just don't get it. I'm like, what in the hell is happening? FNCZ Smith & Wesson need to tell them to pound sand too. Yeah, but they're not the same type of triggers or setups. So, but I really hope all of them. Just tell them to piss off. The trigger conversion, Gary, they're trying to get it to where you can't easily pop a device. I won't say, the word. Y'all know what it is. It's like, you flip it on and flip it off. A light switch. Let's just say a light switch. That's what they're trying to supposedly not be able to put on. Yep, not to be the auto, Gary. Just ordered a half case of 9 and 45. There you go, DB. Sold some sterling silver this week. Was 2 silver processors have so much? They may start refusing new melt orders. Really? I got a bunch of silver. I didn't know they were going to refuse melt orders. Lynn Holt says it seems every law made is designed for a minority of folks that choose to be lawful. No, agreed. I mean, we know how they play the game. And they go after the law-abiding ones. Yeah, they wouldn't have to worry about anything if they could monitor the shit and take care of the shit that they know is wrong. And it's not us that's wrong. So, or the manufacturers. I mean, you try hard enough, you can find ways around anything. Anything at all. Hey, what's up, Indie Irish? How are you, man? It has been a minute. Hope you're doing well. 29 people on and 10 thumbs up. So y'all smash that thumbs up if y'all would like to. Oh, but man, it's been a long week already. Long week already. Been a long day for sure. And I'm rocking the Core. In case anybody wants a watch check. This is the Core Sapphire. I've been running this watch for a couple of years. Actually, a good watch. Yeah, that's the thing. I was talking to Armsman about that this week. When they say, oh, children's death, they try to blame it on gun violence. No, it's swimming pools. Swimming pools has the, look it up, I'm not making this up. Swimming pools has the most children deaths. Are they going to outlaw swimming pools? Drunk driving, car accidents are more than guns. Are they going to outlaw cars? No, they're not going to. I mean, obesity, heart failure, all this other stuff. I mean, oh man, it's crazy. Nope, I am not a bar guy or a formal soldier, so that is not me. Phone calls to everybody. Yep, they stopped the pennies, man. That's crazy. No, I did not serve in Iraq. Ruger, Shadow Systems, Glock, distributors, tons of info. Okay, cool. Oh, y'all made a lot of calls to the manufacturers. I got you. That's awesome. You'll have to fill me in tomorrow. What's up, Pranic? How are you, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, and I still have to set up, I have to move tools from one toolbox to another toolbox. And man, I've got tools everywhere. They're like all over my tool bench in the garage. They're stacked. I mean, I've got boxes on top of boxes of tools. I need to start putting shit in the new toolbox. that's out in the garage. So that's probably what I was going to work on this weekend. And I've got a smaller toolbox I'm going to give to a buddy of mine. So he is setting up a toolbox for his kid. So, and I've known him for like 25 years. So I'm gonna help his kid get a cool toolbox set up and donate some tools to him. Older tools I don't use anymore. Unit 4 says, hard to believe it's only Wednesday. Seems later, but at least I didn't have to shovel 13 inches of the lake effect snow. They got 20 minutes to the south of me, dang. Yeah, so I'm going to, it's a lower box. It's just a smaller one, but I'm gonna clean it out and move everything over so that way I can make some more room in the garage. And this one's not a high dollar toolbox. This one is it's an older toolbox, but it was the Husky Professional. I don't even think they make them anymore, but it has the ball bearing, drawers, and all that other stuff. But so I'm gonna donate this one to him and his kid. And move my new big one or new one in there. So I can get everything set up. It's always fun setting up a new toolbox because you're gonna move shit about 15 times until you know where you want it for sure. So really looking forward to that. I'm being sarcastic, of course. Anybody know if the House passed the CR? Supposed to vote already. Oh, passed, okay. Yeah, I've been kind of out of the loop a little bit. I haven't really watched any YouTube videos or anything because I've been so busy. So I'm in a little bit out of the loop these past couple of days. Oh, 47 signing the bill. There you go. That's good. But any new firearms or anything y'all are interested in? Anything exciting? Prentick says, I'm never happy with my toolbox. No, I know. That's just the perils of being a technician or having toolboxes. You move shit around and you don't like it in the top drawer, you move it to the bottom drawer. Then you hate it in the bottom drawer, you move it to the middle drawer. I guarantee I'm going to move things like 19 million times. And plus, I got new organizers. That's another thing. You'll put it in the organizer, then you'll move it out of the organizer. Then you'll put it back in the organizer, and then you'll move the organizer 19 times. So, good, now they can make me a sandwich. Is it Lowe's carries Craftsman, but they're not the old school Craftsman. They're the new school Craftsman. But yeah, Lowe's still carries Craftsman. GV models, exciting. Commemorative coins. I have some commemorative coins. Now I have some old ones. I have some newer ones, but I have some older ones too. I've got like the Kennedy collection. It was one they did. I've got the Texas collection of the silver coins. I've got some, some that they did. DB says my new 9mm 1911 whiz bang, loving this thing. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say they are cool. Yes, Craftsman is definitely not as good as it used to be, Rich. Not as good. I mean, you can still get it. It's got the lifetime warranty and stuff on it, but it's not the Craftsman of old that they used to make. Wish they still made it, or still had the old stuff, but it's not as good. Found a Booker T. Washington at the park. There you go. Joseph says, is it true that Glock has a lower bore axis than a 1911? And if so, have you shot both? And how would you explain the recoil impulse of each? Yes, Glock does have a lower bore axis because the 1911 is taller on the top. I'm not recoil sensitive, Joseph. I'm just being honest with you. I don't really, the only recoil I feel is from a SIG, and it's kind of a wavy effect. It's not that it's bad, but it just seems higher even than a 1911 or a 2011 to me. Again, if you have the proper grip, and you get high on the tang, so if you get really high on the back strap all the way up to the back, you don't feel as much of the flip. And a lot of people grip lower. They're not way up on the top of it like they should be, so they feel more of the recoil impulse. I honestly think it has to do with more shooter error or an improper grip than it does for the recoil of the gun. I know some people are more recoil sensitive than others, but I've been shooting for a long time, and I'm personally not recoil sensitive. So, but they have different grip angles. So I prefer a 1911, 2011 grip angle over a Glock, but I can shoot both. So it really comes down to which you like. Yeah, and the Hellcat, any smaller gun seems to have more recoil. However, this CR920 XP, it doesn't really have a lot of recoil to me. But again, the smaller, the lighter the gun, the more felt recoil you're going to have. That's the easiest way for me to explain it, Joseph. If that helps, I hope it does. Prenick says 1911 is more natural to hold onto, and a 1911 is heavier as well. Correct. Yep, I remember Sears, man. I used to go in there and get all kinds of Craftsman stuff back in the day. I even have some Craftsman shit that they hadn't made in 100 years. I got the professional line of wrenches. I mean, I've got some nice Craftsman stuff, and then I have some even older, not great. And I have some newer Craftsman stuff, but I'm not a super big fan of it. DB says 45 is more of a pushback, not as more of a pop-up. Yep, that's correct. Ranger says if you ever get a chance to shoot the SIG P211, my GTO has no recoil hardly, can double tap almost instantly. Yep. Yeah, the comps definitely help too. Rich B says, what does gas cost per gallon down there? I just filled up in Austin, and it was like $2.64. It is cheaper where I am though. It's like $1.55 or something like that. But the giant Sears catalogs, yeah. J3 says, what is my favorite Glock? My favorite Glock is probably the 19X. If I had to pick a Glock, I really like the 19X. However, mine's not stock. I've got videos on it. You can check it out if you'd like to. And I also like the 17L. Those are my two favorite Glocks, if I have to pick a Glock. JCPenney's, I have no idea, man. I'm surprised they weren't gone either. But yeah, I do miss Sears. It was fun to go in there and just look around in the tool section. They had a huge tool section back in the day. Automotive tools, or they called it automotive and tool section. And I think it was lawn and garden too. But they used to have some cool stuff. Thanks, DB. Take care, buddy. Credit cards. Oh, for people charging stuff? Yeah, probably so. Oh, turned your Winn-Dixie back into a Piggly Wiggly. We used to have Piggly Wigglies, and then a lot of them went away. I see them once in a blue moon in really small towns. I'll be like, damn, that's a Piggly Wiggly. I'll be driving through and happen to see one, but they aren't, there's not very many of them anymore. Um, Dodge is coming out with some pretty cool performance stuff. I talked about it before, but I've got some more insight on it. They're coming out with a Dude. I don't know if you remember the Hey Dude or the Dude truck, DUDE. Back in the day, they were making a new model, which is going to be a street performance truck, and that's kind of cool. I saw two K5 Blazers today. One of them was really badass. And I took pictures of them, and I was like, man, I'd like to have that. Um, but you know, they were giving them away in a raffle. You had to buy a ticket, and then you got entered into a raffle to win these two K5 Blazers. But I was like, damn, I'd like to have one of those. Oh, Ranger says we got our first Wawa gas station here in Indiana. Not by me, though. Okay. Yeah, I've been to maybe a couple of Wawas. They're not around me either. But yeah, they're kind of cool grocery or little convenience stores. What's up, Norwood? How are you, buddy? Hope you're doing well. I really like the Quick Trips, and I love Buc-ee's. You know, Buc-ee's is cool, but man, you go in there, it's like a freaking mall. Those places are crazy. I remember when we got our first one, I was just like, wow, this Buc-ee's is insane. Woolworths, yeah. Man, I remember Woolworths. That was crazy. Yeah, Wawa is the East Coast, and we have Buc-ee's in Texas. That's true. Arms says Wawa gets his money daily. Oh, going at each other in Virginia, huh? Ranger 10 says, I love Buc-ee's when I'm traveling out west. Yeah, Buc-ee's has some good snacks, man. Their beef jerky's good. You know, they have like chocolate covered almonds and chocolate covered raisins and all those. Their candy and stuff is good. I mean, they got good food all around. Oh, getting your first Buc-ee's. Man, you're in for a treat. Everybody who's been in one that I've recommended, I've had some friends that have never been to one, and I'm like, hey, you got to try Buc-ee's. And they were traveling and they stopped at Buc-ee's. They were like, holy crap, this place is insane. Yeah, their burrito is killer. Their breakfast, I think it's called the Beast, the Breakfast Beast. Man, it is insane. Whew. It is insane. Big old burrito. I mean, it's like freaking a pound and a half, it feels like. Yeah, that breakfast beef or breakfast beast burrito. That's really good, especially if you're out traveling and you're starving and it's morning time or something. They're good to get. Buc-ee's is a destination, a lifestyle, and adventure. Yeah, it is. I mean, hell, that's a place you can go and you know what's crazy is a lot of people don't know it. They even sell like all kinds of sporting equipment. They sell, you know, deer feeders. I mean, they don't sell ammunition or guns or fishing, like a fishing rod. I don't think, but man, they sell damn near anything else. Yeah, Buc-ee's is known to go into rural areas. I've got one not too far from my house. We've got one, you know, there's back one on like towards Fort Worth and stuff. I've kind of got one on, I guess, both sides of me where I am. But they're definitely cool to go to. Matter of fact, I'll be stopping at one tomorrow. Yeah, be in that restroom for an hour after eating that. Well, they do have the cleanest restrooms. I will say that. Man, they have like an attendant that's in there like 24/7, I think. They have some clean restrooms. Yep. Unit that's Pranic, that's what I'm talking about. We have two of them. One on each side of the highways, or, you know, between us. We live pretty close together. Wow, Unit 4 has a couple of hardware stores that sell firearms. Well, I only know of one in our area, and it's Ray's. It's where Colian Noir goes. He goes there every once in a while, but it's a hardware store. It's more of a firearm store, but they sell some hardware. Pulled pork sandwich is good, yeah. They have uh they have good food. Their barbecue, I mean, if you're comparing it to Texas barbecue, like real barbecue that I like to do, it's okay if it's good, really good for a convenience store. Let's put it that way. But it's not gonna win medals or anything, but it's not bad. My local TSC is now selling ammo. I'm not familiar with what TSC means, Ranger. But yeah, as far as ARs or shotguns or pistols or any of that, there's just nothing that's jumping out to me right this second. Is there anything y'all are interested in? What's up, John Crump? How are you? Hope you're doing well. Oh, Tractor Supply. Yeah. I don't know if ours sells ammo or not, to be honest with you. I don't go into Tractor Supply too often. I know they sell safes and stuff like that, but I don't know if mine sells ammo. I'm not sure. Yeah, rule of thumb barbecue. Yep. Ours doesn't. Okay, because I didn't think they did, but I didn't know. Yeah, Rudy's is still alive and well. Matter of fact, there's one not too far from me in Austin, and it's not bad barbecue. I would rather eat at a Rudy's for barbecue than I would a Buc-ee's for barbecue. Some Rudy's, especially some ones that I have logged, um, you know, they're they're pretty good stuff. There's some Rudy's that are not up to par, but there's a couple that are good. They started in San Antonio. I've been to the original Rudy's, and it's kind of cool if you've never been to it. And I would say it's probably one of the best Rudy's, actually. That's a good thing. I need to stop buying. Yeah, I hear you. It's easy to do. Definitely easy to do. But yeah, nothing that's floating my boat. Nothing that I'm jumping up and down to wait and buy. It's kind of boring in the firearms world right this second, in my opinion. Yeah, Rudy's does have good breakfast tacos. And their jalapeno cheddar sausage is not bad at Rudy's either. If you've ever never had it, they only have it sometimes, but it's the jalapeno cheddar sausage. They always have the jalapeno sausage, but the jalapeno cheddar is pretty good. 9mm prices by me is closing in on pre-COVID prices. Okay. After getting my P211, nothing but ammo for a while. Yeah, I hear you. And that's what I think a lot of people need to do if they're low on ammo or don't think they have enough. Probably ammo and magazines, like I always say, rather than just buying another gun to sit, if you don't need it. I mean, if there's something that's really catching your fancy, then of course buy it. Yeah, I've been seeing some good prices on ammo, especially if you buy it by the bulk. The 1,000 rounds, a lot of it's been coming down, which is always a good thing. And again, I want to shoot my 5.7. I want to go and shoot that and run that different ammo through it that I got because I haven't even tested the defensive ammo in it yet. That Fiocchi, it's the Fiocchi like VMAX. I haven't ran it in it yet, so I do want to run that and then have my wife shoot it, see what she thinks about it. So probably need to go this weekend. Glenn Holtz said, I saw some remand for 18 jelly beans per. Wow, that's not bad. Oh, he retracted it. Jelly beans are good. We got 26 people and 15 thumbs up, so y'all can smash that thumbs up if you'd like to. Ammo is cheaper at Rural King, Blazer Brass here in Indiana. Rural Kings are $10.99 doll hairs per box. Yeah, there was at one time, I remember way back in the day, I could get it for $9.99, but in our area, like at gun shops, it's still stupid. But you can get it for. I've seen it for $10.50. I think is the cheapest I've seen it recently, but that was at a box store. U.S. Navy vet. I have the Rock, the PSA Rock. That's the 5.7 I have. Blazer Brass, yeah, that's good. Yeah, Cough was about $8.99 a box. Yep, that's when I bought a ton of it. I mean, a ton of it. Matter of fact, I haven't really had to buy 9mm in years. I bought it way back when it was really, really good prices. I had it delivered to my door for $159 doll hairs with free shipping for 1,000 rounds. Now that was $115, but I bought case after case after case after case. I mean, sometimes I had 2 and 3 cases coming like per week. But that was also when I was shooting a lot of competitions and stuff like that. So I was shooting way more then. Now I'm not shooting as much, of course, but I still have a ton of that stuff left. You ever heard the complaining about Blazer Brass being plated and messing with comps? Yes, I have, and I did have one Lin where it was the P10C with the comp, and I did have a piece of jacket come out and slap me, but it wasn't, too bad. I've got a video where it happened. So it has happened, but I don't know if it was just Blazer Brass. I've heard people say don't shoot, plated bullets in comps before, but I've shot it, never had a problem. And then I had it that one time, but I haven't had it since, and I have a lot of comp guns. Gary says these are no new guns that are just saying to me, or saying buy me to me, so I'm buying spare parts and ammo. Not a bad decision at all, Gary. Yeah, I mean, I still have Blazer, and I'll still shoot it. Joseph says, have you shot the new Staccato line of HD pistols? I haven't officially shot them, Joseph. I've played with them, but I haven't shot them. But, I mean, there's no reason for me to have it because I already have Glocks. I have tons of 9mm pistols, so I really don't need them. And then I have a lot of 2011 pistols. So the thing about having a 9mm or a 2011 that has Glock mags is not a big thing to me. But I could see where some people, if they have a lot of Glocks and they want a 2011 pistol, I could see, hey, cool, I can use the same mags. But to me, I mean, if it takes a different mag, it's not that big of a deal to me because I'm heavily invested in 2011 mags. But like the Bull Armory, it's a proprietary mag, so it doesn't use standard mags. So that's why I haven't bought a Bull Armory. Anyone use Herder's ammo from Bass Pro Shops? I got 500 rounds I haven't used. Yes, I've used Herder's. I've got videos on it. I haven't had any problems with it. I even have some Herder's 22 ammo. Somebody told me that Herder's, I don't know if this is true, but somebody told me that the Herder's is made by Winchester. But I haven't had any problems with it. But I haven't shot like thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds of it either, so I don't know. But all that I've shot, I've had good luck with it. Oh, yeah, Pranic says, I think that repackaged, I just pulled it up and he said repackaged Winchester. That's what I heard too, so I don't know if that's, okay. Len Holt saying Herder's is manufactured by Winchester. I thought it was. Yep. White, yep, Winchester white trash. Yeah, and see, I've had problems way back in the day with the old Winchester. I don't shoot a lot of Winchester personally. I have it, but I don't really, it's not my ammo of choice. I have had problems with it in the past. And the camo box. What's up, Scott? How are you? Oh, it is? Yeah. Like I said, knock on wood, I haven't had any problems with. I shot Winchester 45 not too long ago, the 230 grain. Didn't have any problems with it. It all worked great. But I think it's more hit and miss with Winchester, is what I've had in the past. But I've probably shot, I don't know, maybe 300 rounds of Herders. Probably that's total, maybe. And I haven't had any problems with it. But it has been a while. And again, I've got some of the Herders. I don't know who makes the Herders 22 ammo, because I have some of it in those little old it's like the CCI type boxes, but I don't know if it's any good or not. I haven't shot a lot of it. Yeah, any gun I've had was just picky on ammo. It didn't like Winchester. Yep, I've had some that were like that in the past. Winchester from Academy, yeah. Oh, I heard Winchester is losing the contract to run Lake City. Hasn't that been a rumor for a while? I thought that had came out a while ago, but I didn't know. I just assumed that they already lost it. I didn't know that it was new, that they were going to lose it, because I thought that was a rumor a while back, but I didn't know if it came true. Ranger says still have a ton of reloads on 9mm and 10mm. Still buy it locally though. Have to save my reloads. That Winchester Service Grade 115 is stout stuff and shoots well out of mine. There you go. Yeah, Winchester has one, and maybe that's what you're talking about, Win. It's called Target. I think it's called Target Load or Target or Winchester Target. Somebody told me it was like a NATO round. I don't know if I've shot any of that. We're still talking about the speed of the government. Yeah. Oh, punches holes in a paper like a wad cutter. There you go. Man, I hadn't used wad cutters in forever. Damn. Be showing my age. I imagine some people out there are gonna say, "What the hell's a wad cutter?" But I used to be the shit. Gotta shoot a wad cutter. I remember my grandfather was all about wad cutter. Gotta get you wad cutters. And as a little kid, I was like, "What the hell's a wad cutter?" That was the big thing with 38. What was it? 38 Super wad cutters and 45 wad cutters, and Yep, go-to ammo is Blazer Brass. And like I said, I still have a ton of Blazer Brass. I've got a lot of CCI in 9mm. I've got a lot of Federal Black is what it was called. Federal Black in 9mm. I also have a lot of Winchester in 9mm. Trying to think if there's anything weird I have. I mean, I've got like multiple boxes of just weird names. I actually have a lot of Black Hills 124, and I like Black Hills. They're great ammo, but I've got a lot of the Black Hills 124 defensive ammo too. Brown box Winchester, semi-wad cutters, yep. Is Winchester NATO manufactured to a higher standard than regular white box? No, it's like more powder. It's a NATO pressure of the 124, so it's better, I guess, than 115. Pre-hollow point tech upgrade, yep. Ranger Tees, yep, got Ranger Tees. I'm a big HST guy. I have Black Widow. I believe that's what it's called. I got a bunch of that stuff shit too from back in the day. It was outlawed. America needs more civilian ammo companies. Yep. Semi-wad cutters from a 38 Special. Yep. 10% more pressure. Yeah. That's what I thought it was, but I didn't know the percentage. I knew it had more pressure, but I didn't know the percentage. A lot of people use NATO to break in guns. Most of your 124s is pretty close. You can get it that specifically says NATO. Yeah, Target Sports USA, big online ammo. There's a bunch of, I'll buy I don't need it, but I'll buy periodically stuff on, Primary Arms or PSA if they have stuff on sale, especially the 5.7 stuff. Like I said last time, I bought, I think, 400 rounds of this new Fiocchi 5.7. But, that's the thing. I've got a ton of 22. I mean, a ton of 22. I even have a lot of 300 Blackout. I bought a bunch of bulk of it. Good 300 Blackout, too. I've got 110, 124, and 200 and 220 grain. I've got a bunch of 308. I've got 110 grain 308, 150 grain 308, and then I've got the 170 or 168. I've got the 168 Sierra Match Kings. I've got a bunch of the 168 Sierra Match King for 308. Scott says 124 NATO loading originated from the Germans in World War II with their 9mm. There you go. All ammo's Republican. Yeah, Republican, yeah. CZP-01 is rated for NATO. Yes, it is. It was actually approved for NATO. It's one of the guns that went and through the NATO test with the CZP-01. It was NATO approved. But it is 7:51, so we're getting towards the end of the chat. But if y'all have any questions, comments, we've got 20 people on here, 18 thumbs up, so I appreciate the thumbs up. Only 9mm I shoot is 124 grain. Yeah, I shoot a lot of 115 and 124. I do prefer 124. But, I bought so much 120 or 115, I have no problem shooting it, and all my guns shoot it. But if, I kind of like to shoot what I carry, and I carry 124. So I definitely prefer to shoot 124. But again, sometimes I'll just grab it and go. My PO1s have the NSM number on them. Yep, that means they were NATO approved. Mine had it on there too that I sold. The PO1 Omega was not NSM approved. It was the original PO1 that was. So if you have the original PO1s, they all are NATO approved. Some of them have the markings, some don't. But I have found out if you don't have the marking, they are still NATO approved. But it is cool to have the number on it that it shows it was. Rich B says, can you tell the difference in 115 versus 124? Again, I'm not recoil sensitive. If it's a really hot 124 hollow point, like some of my hills, it's pretty hot. I can feel a little more pop, not a lot. But between target ammo 124 and 115, it's kind of a wash for me. But I have some pretty hot 124, and it's not painful or, oh my God, I can't shoot this. It's not that. I can just feel a little more pop. Yeah, 147 is much flatter to me. I just don't care for 147 personally. I mean, not saying it's a bad load. I have a lot of it as well, but I just don't shoot very much of it. Not that it's bad. He said, yep, steel frame doesn't have the NSM number, but both my green models do. Yeah, the earlier ones had the NSM model or number on there. Then the later PO1s did not. However, I did talk with CZ, and they said even if you don't have the MSM number, that they were still approved. So, yeah, and again, with the versus 115 versus 124, it doesn't make two shits. I'm just being honest with you. As far as feel to me, I don't notice a big enough difference. Unless it's a spicy or someone's reloaded it really hot or something like that. But again, I mean, it's not a big deal. You're not going to be like, oh my gosh, I can really tell the difference. Unit 4 says a friend of mine hunting in Minnesota was treated to some amazing northern lights last night. That's awesome. I know. I'm in Austin, and somebody was like, oh man, you can see them in Austin. The person I worked with today, and I was like, really? Shit, I didn't even know that. I mean, I didn't think you could see them in Austin, but supposedly people were saying that you could. Gary was saying 115 or 116 to 124, whatever's on sale. No, I hear you. Yeah, I got one that prefers 147, forget 115s in it, accuracy standpoint. No, I get it. I mean, 115, I think, is less accurate for me versus 124s. It's not as precise. But when you're dealing with FMJs, I mean, you're not talking about enough that's going to blow your dress up. Scott says, we've been getting northern lights here in New England. I don't get to see them, but the pictures look amazing. Yeah, I've seen some on X and stuff like that, and I'm like, man, that looks awesome. So I would have definitely liked to see them. Yep, Ranger's right. Also depends on barrel length, shorter, snappier. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Again, I think even on a small pistol, I mean, I think your grip is everything, because I can notice when I have a shit left-hand grip, and I've even called myself out in videos before. I always grip really, really tight with my right hand, but I'll get a weak left hand. And I can tell it no matter what I'm shooting, So if you have a really good structured grip, it's not going to make a huge difference for sure. But when your left hand goes to shit, like sometimes mine does when I'm not paying attention, it'll bring out some bad habits. U.S. Navy vet says my VP9 is not a fan of 115, prefers 124. Yep, U.S. Navy vet, I got a video on the VP9. They jacked them all up and they went from the 115 spring to the heavier 124 spring and all the HK VP9s. They did a rolling change where I think it went, and I've got a video, I think it went from a red spring to a blue spring. And one was a 115 rated spring, and then one was a NATO rated spring, and they did a change on them. And I've got one that's dribbling out, literally dribbling out 115s. And I called them, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? I had a VP9 before, and it shot 115 fine. They're like, oh, we did the spring change. And I'm like, you didn't tell anybody? And they're like, well, no. And so I was like, well, I have a lot of 115 too that I would like to shoot. And they did, and I talked about it in the video, they did also send me a 115 spring. But all of them come with the 124 springs now. Ranger says grip is the most important thing to practice. Everything else is second. Correct. That's what I'm saying. You know how people say, oh, I dry fire every night. I do this, I do that. I mean, if you just sit in a chair and grip your gun and get a really good grip with both hands, I mean, that can help a lot too. Scott says my VP9 doesn't have any problem with 115. Yeah, they did a change. I can't remember the day of my video, but the model that I had with the serial number, they had just done the upgrade. And it has painted springs on it, so you can tell. So if you watch my video, if you're interested, you can watch it, and I talk about one is painted for the 115 and the other one's painted for the 124. So if you got this spring, you can shoot 115. If you got this spring, it's dominant 124. So Scott, you might have the 115 spring. Yeah, it's been a long time, U.S. Navy vet. It's still there. But I mean, it's just dribbling out those 115s, and I'm just like, what the hell? Where on my old VP9, prior to that one, it would just spit out 115s, no problem. And then when I put the 115 spring in it, took out the 124 and put the 115, it shot them out just like my normal one did. And like I said, it's not that big of a deal. And it is HK, so they do prefer to run the 124s, which a lot of guns do, and I get it. They're NATO set up, so that's why they would put a 124 spring in it. And a lot of them don't, they don't subdue for the American 115 grain, which I get too. But I was just like, hey, and they're like, yeah, we normally don't do this, but we'll send you a spring. And I didn't say, hey, I do YouTube and all that shit. I was just like, hey, I'd like to shoot my 115. And they're like, yeah, we normally don't do this, but we'll send you a spring. And they did. All right, it is 8 o'clock. We've got 21 people on and 20 thumbs up. Great job, everyone. I appreciate y'all. But yeah, I'll be heading back tomorrow. So I'll get home tomorrow late afternoon. And, I do want to try to plan on shooting Friday afternoon. A couple of guns I definitely want to shoot is I want to shoot the 5.7. I want to actually shoot the CR920 XP. So I want to shoot that one. I want to shoot the Staccato C2. I want to shoot my Shadow 2 Carry. And I love that gun. I want to go shoot it. I mean, there's like probably 5 or 6 guns I really, really want to shoot. So, and I'm not going to take 5 or 6 of them at one time, but I'll just make my checklist and pick 2 or 3 that I really want to shoot first. And I'll probably take those. Yeah, I appreciate all of y'all being on. Thanks, Unit 4. Thanks, Ranger. Thanks, everyone. But yeah, it's 8 o'clock. We'll go ahead and shut it down. If there's any, even after the chat, if there's any guns, y'all are like, man, what do you think about this? Or, I've been thinking about getting this one, blah, blah, blah. Or if there's some guns maybe I don't know about, definitely let me know. Scott says, next gun I'm going to get is probably one of the Taurus TX22s if I can find one with the tac pack with 5 mags for a decent price. Yep, FRT Go Burr. Yeah, that would be a blast. Oh my gosh, that would be fun. Because I think, I was even talking about buying one of those with that combo where you got the burr and you got the extra mags. I was thinking about buying one where it was just for that gun because I don't want to take my competition one and put the burr in it and then want to take it out. I want to put it in a permanent one. So I was going to buy a separate one if I decided to do that. So that's what I was going to do too. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Thanks, Leah. I appreciate you. I love for guns. Yes, they are definitely fun. But I appreciate y'all so much. As we're saying now, if you haven't reached out to a friend or relative that hadn't heard from you in a while, please do. Just let them know you're thinking about them. Say hi. Check on them. See if there's anything they need. Matter of fact, after I get off this call, I'm going to check on my mom, make sure she's okay. So, Armsman, if you're still on here, I'll reach out to you tomorrow and give you a buzz. We'll chat for a while. But I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all have a wonderful night. And remember, an unarmed nation is a very weak nation, so we all got to carry on. So thanks, everyone. Y'all take care. Have a great night. Bye.